So VR or VR technology has been somewhat of a buzzword over the past few years, especially with the advent of Web 3.0. But VR technology is by no means new. As a matter of fact, it's been around for almost 200 years, dating as far back as 1838. I know, I was also amazed when I first learned about this. Even Thomas Edison, the American scientist known for his light bulb invention, worked on some early version of the VR technology back in 1891. Fast forward to today, and you can get your hands on a Google VR headset made entirely from cardboard cutouts. Now, this is a DIY cardboard cutout that you make from schematics and directions gotten from Google. Then you insert your smartphone into it and launch a VR app to get the VR experience. But to get an affordable and good consumer level VR headset, you'll be looking at something like Sony's PlayStation VR or Meta's Oculus for around $300 to $400. So, when it comes to tech that alters reality with digital elements, the terms that comes to mind for most people are either virtual reality, which is VR, or augmented reality, which is AR. But most people don't know the terms XR or MR, which stand for extended reality and mixed reality respectively. Extended reality is basically an umbrella term that covers any sort of tech that alters reality by adding digital elements to the physical world, or totally immersing you in a digital world. So what that means is that when you talk about extended reality, you're talking about either augmented reality, mixed reality, or virtual reality. Augmented reality is any tech that lets you overlay digital elements on top of elements in your environment, but you cannot physically interact with the digital elements. An example of this would be when you use the camera on your smartphone to place virtual objects into your physical environment. You can do that now by launching your Apple Store app, checking out, say, a monitor you want to buy, and placing it on your desk just to see what it will look like. And you get a real life size monitor that you can move around and place anywhere. And you can also do this with furniture or TV. Basically any virtual object you can think of. I think you can see how useful this can be for, say, a consumer trying to decide what furniture to buy, or even for professionals like interior decorators trying to show their clients their vision. I think mixed reality is where the confusion starts to kick in a little bit. And what I mean by this is that it's pretty much the same as augmented reality, except for the fact that there's an element of physical interaction. So in mixed reality, you have a digital overlay on the physical environment, but on top of that, you can interact with both the digital and physical elements in the environment. What this means is that in mixed reality, if the digital overlay gets an input from the environment, it will change according to the input, exactly how you would say it in science fictions. You can see how this can be useful in fields like engineering design or medical fields or even learning. You know what? Now that I think of it, the example I gave earlier about AR might actually be a mixed reality experience because you actually place virtual objects into physical spaces and move them around. You see how you can easily get AR and MR mixed up. Virtual reality, however, is technology that allows you to create a totally immersive experience, meaning everything around you is virtual and the real world is blocked out. When you're in VR, you have absolutely no element of the real world as it's been totally replaced by the virtual world. So, of all the two I just described, virtual reality is the one technology that most people are more familiar with, even if you've never had a VR experience yourself. That's what you mostly see with people strapping these devices to their faces and running into walls, or knocking down their TV while playing VR games. Alright, now that I have the definitions in place, I'll be using the umbrella term extended reality, unless I specifically want to describe any of the terms under the umbrella. So, as of today, VR technology is a lot more mature than AR or MR technology. And this is due to the limitations in AR and MR technology and their higher price tag. As a matter of fact, one of the first experiences people had with AR or MR technology was with the very popular game Pokemon Go back in 2016. After the wild success of Pokemon Go, Snapchat started introducing AR technology into their social media app with the introduction of those poppy face filters. And of course, other social media companies copied them. So now, you can have an immersive experience by playing VR games on something like an Oculus Rift, or have a virtual workstation with multiple virtual desktops, or even travel to any destination in the world, or any time in history to have a virtual experience of what it's like to be there without spending that much money or time. So right now, extended reality devices come in two forms. We have the tethered system, which means the device is connected by wire to a processing unit, and a standalone system, which has everything housed on the device like the Oculus VR. I see this trend carrying into the future with the standalone devices being more consumer-centric, while the theta devices will be a lot more powerful but used in enterprise settings or research. And I also think we are moving into a future where our smartphones, smartwatches, laptops or computers would all merge into one extended reality device. In this future, it will be somewhat absurd to still carry around a smartphone or a laptop, as all the information you need will be projected right in front of you. Now, that being said, there are a few limitations that I see, especially with the consumer-centric standalone extended reality devices. We have the abysmal battery life of VR devices in their current form. We also have the form factor, cause really, nobody wants to be walking around with a big device strapped to their face. Now, I believe to truly unleash the full potential of extended reality, we need true wireless charging, not in the current form we have it. Let me explain. So, in its current form, wireless charging really should be called inductive charging when you really think about it, because the device that needs to be charged and the charger need to be in such proximity that there's usually contact between them. You basically place one on top of the other. When you think of wireless technology, what comes to mind is Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or radio waves, all of which have nothing to do with physical contact. So if you're able to advance wireless charging technology to a point where you could have a charging hub, sort of like Wi-Fi router that efficiently transmits energy as radio waves, we might be able to finally have all our devices in a state of being perpetually charged and never running out of juice or power. These hubs could be in your car, in malls, or public spaces, same way you have public Wi-Fi now, or even on neighborhood streets. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. You can literally go anywhere with your VR headset or smartphone and not have to worry about battery life. By extension, something like true wireless charging would also allow for the miniaturization of this technology if we're ever going to replace our smartphones with extended reality. Manufacturers wouldn't need to worry about fitting in a big battery into these devices, which in turn would make them big and bulky. Also, knowing that extended reality devices require a lot of processing power, which could be hard to miniaturize, these devices could end up utilizing an emerging technology known as edge computing. In simple terms, what I'm trying to say is, instead of these VR or AR devices to have a powerful processor locally on them in order to carry out computation, they can outsource the computation to localized servers that have the compute power needed to process data from the VR or AR devices. And really, all these devices will need to worry about is to merely display whatever content you have right in front of you, and that's it. Right now, we are able to have a very immersive audiovisual experience, to the point where you can hardly tell the difference between the virtual world and the real world once you're in it. But I don't think we would ever attain that absolute immersive experience unless we're able to include the sense of smell, taste, and most importantly, touch. Of all the three senses I just mentioned, the sense of touch is obviously the lowest hanging fruit from the tree due to developments in haptic technology. So when it comes to the sensation of touch, one of the hardest things to simulate is the resistance that you get when you grab an object. And there are companies creating different technologies to simulate the sense of touch, using things like haptic vests that allow you to feel in VR, to force feedback gloves that simulate the feeling of holding an object by applying a resistive force to the glove when you grab a virtual object. Then there's also what's known as electrostimulation. And this makes use of electricity to stimulate your body, skin, and muscles to feel the sensation of pain. Yeah, I know, sounds wild to me as well. Like, why would anyone want to experience pain in VR? But hey, full immersiveness, right? I think as a tech enthusiast, I can only be excited about what the next decade or two has to unfold, particularly how society will be shaped by extended reality. From being able to attend events without traveling, to having a full immersive experience while watching a movie, regardless of whether it's an action movie or a drama. If you had told someone just 2 decades ago that you'd be able to have a real-time conversation with someone on the other side of the world, you would sound like a science fiction fanatic. But here we are today, exploring the possibilities of a third dimension of entertainment and interacting with virtual objects, and it doesn't seem so far-fetched. Alright, I think that about covers it all. Some of these ideas are actually thoughts and imaginations as I envision what the future of extended reality could look like. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps with the growth and discoverability of my channel. Till next time, stay safe and I'm out.